Good evening. We're going to call this meeting to order at 7:03 p.m. We're going to start with the salute to the flag. I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all. Please join me in a moment of silent reflection. Thank you. Sunshine law notice. In accordance with the provisions of the Open Public Meetings Act, public meetings may be held in person or by means of communication equipment that includes streaming services and other online meeting platforms. This meeting is being held in person through the Zoom meeting platform being broadcast from the Fairhaven Firehouse, 645 River Road, Fairhaven, New Jersey. Public participation in this regular council meeting of July 28, 2025 is available by phone number or through web conference Zoom. Members of the public will be on mute until it's time for questions or comments, which will be announced. At that time, the public has the opportunity to question or comment by phone or through Zoom by the raise hand button and will be called on at the appropriate time. Notice of this meeting was included in the scheduled meetings adopted by resolution number 2025-13 and sent to the Asbury Park Press and the Two Acre Times on January 7, 2025, posted on the Borough website, Bolton Warden Municipal Building, and has remained continuously posted as required under the statute. With adequate notice having been given, the Borough Clerk is directed to conclude the statement in the minutes of this meeting. Allison, may I please have a roll call?
Members Cole.
Yes.
DiMaselli. She's on Zoom. Yeah, she's on Zoom. She'll be in about 15 minutes. Councilwoman Hoey.
Yes.
Batch.
Yes.
Barbara Bear.
Present.
Olson.
Yes.
We have Administrator York, CFO Brighton, Chief McGovern, Attorney Silva. Attorney Mallett is on Zoom, and DPW Director Nick Fortunes.
Thank you, Allison. First up, started out with a presentation by Fairhaven Fire Company. Thank you. And before he starts, thank you obviously again for hosting us here. We're very appreciative. I think we're done. Are we done, Chris, with the renovation for the next meeting?
We are.
Yeah.
So we will be back in the municipal building for our next meeting. However, you know, this is sort of become a tradition here now, coming to the firehouse every year. We think we have a fantastic relationship and partnership with your department, and we were talking before the meeting how excited we were there.
Yes.
I'm sure that that's gonna start taking up a lot of the time here. Anything we can do to help this.
Oh, that's great. I mean, I appreciate you guys all coming here. It's amazing to host you guys. I think, like you said, we have a great partnership. Today I want to really just educate the public on the fire company. I think many know how we operate, but might not know all the details. And you know, everyone throws around that, hey, we're 100% volunteer, but there's a lot of partnership that I want to highlight. We got a long history. The fire company has evolved over the years. You know, we have, sure, yeah, definitely. We have, you know, obviously the fire department, first aid, fire police, auxiliary, water rescue. We have a lot of operations going on, but I always try to simplify it. So what do we do here? It's very simple. We protect life, preserve property. That's the main goal. Everything we do here is around that goal, whether it's fundraising, whether it's administrative work, whether it's, you know, all the training. It's so we can do those two things better: protect life and preserve property. Now, from a fire side, what does that mean? There's so many different calls. We have structure fires, we have MVAs, motor vehicle accidents, we had vehicle fires, we have hazardous conditions, which make up the majority of our calls. Carbon monoxide, COs, gas, and other conditions that you know, we're checking out for homeowners. We're you know, different types of rescue, ice rescues. We have medevac operations, assisting first aid when there's a critical incident. We average about 180 calls in this town. That includes our mutual aid. So we don't just respond to Fairhaven, we actually respond to all our neighboring towns. We, through the county, we have a mutual aid response plan, they call it MARC. And they help us in need and we help them in need. We average about 1,700 man hours a year. And that doesn't include all the meetings and the training. But it's an immense amount of work. Now, people always ask, there's a lot of hours, there's a lot of different calls. How do you guys manage it? I think one of the most common questions I get is, do you guys have shifts? You know, at my office, they always ask, like, how do you do this? How do you juggle? It's pretty simple. We commitment and service. We ask our members, if you're available and you're home, respond. Doesn't matter if it's the middle of the night, doesn't matter if it's a holiday, doesn't matter if it's your daughter's birthday. You go, you drop what you're doing and you respond. And all of our members do it time and time again. It's an amazing effort. You know, one of the KPIs that we use as an officer is how many times do we need to go mutual aid? It's one thing to call mutual aid when you have a critical incident and it's escalating, but it's another thing to have to call mutual aid if you just didn't get a response. If for some reason, middle of the day, everyone's at work, everyone's out of town, and there isn't a call, then we go mutual aid and we don't have it. I think we've had one mutual aid response in like the last 3 years, and we eventually had a truck there as well. Now, we don't do this by ourselves. We have great partnerships with the borough, with the PD. I don't think everyone knows that PD, they're on the scene for every call. They're the first ones there. If it's a first aid call, it's a fire, they're already giving emergency service response, giving care. In some cases, they're already putting out the fire. We have a great partnership with them and they do an amazing job. And if it's not for them, like they're helping us every step of the way. And then same thing with the borough. The borough, you know, we're 100% volunteer. People think that and they hear that like, oh, you guys operate completely independently from the borough, and that's not the case. The borough gives us the authority to operate. They also give us operational budget to be able to, you know, for training, equipment. You see some of it back there, but it's an immense amount of tools, testing our equipment, you know, training all our members. It all adds up a lot. And then all the trucks. And I don't think people understand how, you know, partner with the borough when it comes to our vehicles and our fleet. All of our engines are borough vehicles. The borough purchased those vehicles. Now, when it comes to the officer cars, the firehouse purchases those, but then we hand it over to the borough because they maintain our vehicles, they repair our vehicles all through DPW. So it's a great partnership, and obviously we work very close with everyone to make sure that, you know, we're properly funded. And then obviously on a new truck as well. We are in the market for a new truck. We're working with the borough and Chris and everyone to get that spec'd out and start the process there. So obviously your support there is major. One of our trucks is getting repaired and you guys have been amazing stepping up to help us there. Now, some of that funding that the borough, you know, gives us, we apply to training. Training doesn't come for free. We go to the academy sometimes, we get live burns. You can see some of our schedule from this year. We cover everything. We have to train. We have to make sure our members are certified. We got to make sure members have repetition to ensure that when the response is real, that they're able to respond. Equipment testing. So aside from like preventative maintenance, you know, oil changes and transmission fluids, our engines require special testing, special service, specific around the firematics, pumps, ladder hose testing. We have to make sure everything's going to work when we go to a incident, and that all costs money as well. And we get that through our operational budget through the borough. Now, I mentioned, you know, the fire company has grown over the years, and it's not just fire department anymore. Our first aid, they almost triple our calls. You know, we're 180, they're close to 500 calls. And I give a lot of respect to our first aid members, not just because they have more response, but one thing I always say to members is there's no such thing as a false alarm at a first aid call. Someone's injured, someone needs care, they're responding. You know, fire, you know, there's false alarms, bad batteries in a detector. They do an amazing job. They spend countless hours training to make sure they're up to standard on all their certifications. We have EMTs and EMRs across the squad. They do an amazing job. We also have a water rescue. Now, we're very blessed in this town to have access to the Navasink and Shrewsbury River, the ocean. I mean, it's, you know, the beaches are amazing, but with that, you know, comes a lot of marine and water rescue. We partner with all of our towns. We partner with Coast Guard, New Jersey State Police. Anytime there's an incident, we're getting called out most likely, and it's a mutual aid response. We've had everything from accidents, medical issues, drownings, ice rescues, and you know, they come in a lot of different forms. And our water rescue team spends a lot of hours not only preparing the boat but training. They actually partnered with Seabright the other night to do a swift water rescue at 9 p.m. in the dark. It was a very high risk operation, but they wanted to train for it because where they conducted it is a very hazardous part of the river. Fire police. Who protects the firefighters and first aid? Fire police. A lot of people get them confused with PD, but it's the fire police. They are the ones ensuring that roads are blocked off, hazardous areas are taped off. They're ensuring that we can operate in a safe environment. I ask the public, if you end up rolling up on a fire police and they turn you around or they reroute you down, please be kind. They're not trying to make your life difficult. They're actually trying to protect you from going into a hazardous situation, and they're ensuring that the first responders are all safe. The other organization that many people may not know about is our auxiliary. Auxiliary has been around for a long time in this fire department, supplementing our fire company in a lot of operations. They used to actually go on scene and help with rehab and help with servicing, different needs for the firefighters during long operations. That's shifted. Now it's more administrative support. They help out with fundraising and improvement. And I think one of the biggest, if we do have a massive incident, we have cover signs. Part of that mutual aid response plan is while we're operating, like the Fairhaven Road fire, we need someone at our firehouse in case there's a second call. So we have other departments that will actually come here, station, and then wait for another call that might occur. And our auxiliary helps ensure that they're accommodated during that time. The last thing I want to mention is community. The fire department's number one goal and our mission is protecting life and preserving property. But we're also very much a part of this community, whether it's Memorial Day, baseball parade, Halloween, Santa at the park. Obviously, the fair, we're very much involved in the community. And one way the community can help us is our big fundraising event. It's, the largest fireman fair in the state. It's our primary fundraiser. So we, all the funds go to maintaining this building, buying additional equipment that might not be part of the borough operational budget, and then maintaining these grounds. And you can imagine, everything's expensive, and this is how we raise funds to ensure that we can continue to operate. So I ask everyone to come out, enjoy the fair. And then if you want to also, help out this organization, we're always looking for new volunteers. It's all in-house training. We'll send you out for certification, no cost. We'll give you all the equipment, and all we ask is your time and commitment. Thank you guys.
I had one question.
Sure.
Is there a mutual aid for the water rescue stuff? I saw you wrote between Navasink and Shrewsbury River. Obviously, I don't think we're on the Shrewsbury River, but do we go over to the Shrewsbury River? And
There's different operations that might call for us. We may not send our Marine 13, but we have other boats, smaller John boats that we, could potentially launch and drive over. Yes, so the mutual aid response is something that we continuously work with county and then other agencies on when they call it. It's always a work in progress on how we refine it. Usually if there's some type of victim, they're calling everyone. It's easy to turn people around. If there's other type of operations, they might try to isolate it and to just depending, like if you're on the Navasink and it happens in front of Fairhaven, we're usually called. But there's times when it's not. You can have a boater, passing by, and we've actually had that a boat was smoking and Red Bank was first called, but it ended up being more in Fairhaven. We got dispatched as well, and we both coordinated, and then we did search areas until we found them.
And when there's a call, there's a fire call, your team comes here first. What happens?
That's a great question. So it's a different protocol than fire. So we actually have a water rescue team that trains under different guidelines, than let's say, a fire. So we have personnel that will go straight to the, yacht works and respond directly to the boat. So all of our certified drivers and, will go and respond to the boat along with 2 EMS. So if you gotta be certified to be able to give care in case there is a victim. The rest of the department will respond here, grab equipment, grab additional, and then go to the scene, or actually go to the yacht works.
Questions?
You mentioned volunteers, right, and opportunities to volunteer. Back when we met, I think in January, you had mentioned, I think it was, first aid was the biggest in need of volunteers. Is that still the biggest need between?
I think it's ebbs and flow. All departments need new members.
Okay.
I do think first aid, they have the most calls. They've been doing an amazing job ensuring that they get a truck or get a, response out of their, department. But yeah, if someone wants to join first aid, I would definitely recommend that. They can do both. We have a lot of members who sign up for fire, who then end up becoming first aid as well. And they can respond as they need. Now, how they manage that with their time, personal time, is it's difficult, but we do have members that join multiple departments within the firehouse.
Mayor, just one thing. Chief, I remember, thank you so much. This is fantastic. And one thing that stuck with me last year, if you could just keep me accurate in what I'm saying. I think one of the most easiest ways to understand is the minute that pager goes off, right, the volunteers become employees, right? In the sense of covered by insurance, right? All those different pieces. And then, everything inside the house, the actual equipment that you're using, right, is what the operating budget supports and whatnot.
Yeah.
And then the other thing that stuck with me last year, and if you just confirm, right, is that the partnership between the borough and the firehouse runs deep. I think there's like a 100-year agreement, right, in place between us, if memory serves me correctly.
Yeah, so there's at least, so the borough gives us the authority to operate here, but then the fire department also, has an agreement with the borough to be able to store the borough trucks here. And for us to operate a fire department on this building, which is private,
Yeah.
So yeah, there's a long-term agreement on that. The exact details I don't know, but I think it was a $1 lease.
Sure. Yeah, I just think it's a good data point to have.
Yeah.
Thanks, Chief.
Thank you. All right, thank you guys.
Thank you.
Okay, we're gonna move along to public comment on agenda items only. Please observe a 3-minute time limit. Please state your name and address clearly for the record. Anyone with a public comment on agenda items only? Allison?
Yeah.
Thank you. All right, moving along, approval of minutes, July 14th, 2025, the regular meeting. Do I have a motion to approve? Allison, may I please have a roll call?
Councilmembers Cole,
Yes.
Pimaselli, yes. Poe,
Yes.
Cox,
Yes.
Olson.
Yes. Thank you. New business introduction of ordinances 2025-12, federal capital ordinance. Before I ask for motion, does anyone have anything on this? No, do I have a motion to approve? Motion.
Second.
Allison, may I please have a roll call?
Councilmembers Cole,
Yes.
Pimaselli,
Yes.
Poe,
Yes.
Cox,
Yes.
Barbara,
Affirmative.
Olson.
Yes. Thank you. Next up, 2025-13, amend tree removal ordinance, section 14-8.12, violation and penalty section. Before I ask for motion, does anyone have anything on this? No, do I have a motion? Motion.
Second.
Allison, may I please have a roll call?
Councilmembers Cole,
Yes.
Pimaselli,
Yes.
Poe, Cox,
Yes.
Barbara,
Affirmative.
Olson.
Thank you. Consent agenda, resolution 2025-205 through 216. Before I ask for a motion, does anyone want to separate any of these?
I would like to separate, 2025 there, 260.
Okay. Anyone else want to separate anything? All right, so let's get out of the way, 2025-205 through 215. Do I have a motion to approve? Motion. Second. Allison, may I please have a roll call?
Councilmembers Cole,
Yes.
Pimaselli,
Yes.
Poe,
Yes.
Cox, Yes. La Barbera,
Yes.
Olson.
Yes. Thank you. 2025-216, you want discussion or just a vote? Okay, Allison, may I please have a roll call?
Motion for.
Oh, sorry.
Yes.
Okay. Do I have a second? All right, Allison, may I have a roll call? Oh, you want to discuss? So then we're not doing the motion.
You motion second discussion. Or however you want.
Let's do discussion before motion is second. We could change someone's mind that's making the motion.
I'm not sure. That I just got a substitute, I believe, does this resolution for the additional funding take to completion?
It will take, basically completion of the project, to just to give you an idea on this, effective July 31st, that'll be the end of the contract with Ron Grammar, so there'll be no more bills that will come after that, so, at the completion of this company tonight, you'll be getting a memo from me that ends the service. You know, some of the delay that dragged us on, obviously, we had landscaping and the professional side, just to make the project go a little bit longer, which obviously incurred costs for the architect, which don't carry them, so. But this July is the last month that we work on this project.
Thank you. Make a motion to.
Second.
Allison, may I please have a roll call?
Councilmembers Cole,
Yes.
Demaseli,
Yes.
Poe,
Yes.
Hot.
No.
La Barbera,
Affirmative.
Olson.
Yes. Thank you. Department reports, June 2025, municipal court, police department. Is there anyone positive with a motion except with a thank you?
Motion with a huge thank.
Second, future.
Oh, is anyone all in favor with the most?
Aye.
I don't know if that makes sense, but. Everyone's in favor? Anyone opposed? Okay, thank you. We have reached the good of the borough portion of the meeting. Before I ask anyone in the public, is there anyone up here that has good of the borough?
There.
Sure.
Two quick things. I think everyone's probably aware National Night Out is coming up on August 5th. And like to acknowledge our chief, the fabulous department. I'm looking forward to assisting in new community center. Is there anything you want to add, chief?
Like I said, the parking lot's done, so we'll be in our parking lot, we'll put up headquarters, anyone wants to see it, so, thank you.
Great. And then the only other is, for some of you who know, I'm the liaison for this Preservation Commission. They forwarded a memorandum to the governing body, if you've ever seen it. And they're aware of the public work is continuing and that there'll be some improvements to the building, which everyone's fully in support and excited about. And there's some special attention to the exterior and paint and much needed work on repairing it, it's like, paint color. And their memorandum is really a note to say, if I were here, we would like to provide advisory, comment and recommendation to paint color. And specifically, they would like the council to know that they would suggest, and I believe it's already practiced and considered a part of the deal, that the professionals who are in place to guide the borough's turn to a paint specialist, which is somebody who would look at the original paint that's probably in layers and layers and layers, who knows how many on that building, and then we employ the proper professionals to guide us. And that's the message from the teachers.
Anyone else with the good of the borough?
I have one real quick, just to continue, super momentous day today. Just want to respond to facilities real quick. The gates were installed as of today and marked the completion of the last significant item. There's a couple small odds and ends that have to get resolved. But we'll be looking to do a ribbon cutting ceremony at DPW. The recycling center, which is new and improved, cardboard, e-waste, clothing, shoe donations, and then mixed recycling will open up on August 1st. Excuse me, Monday.
No, August 1st.
August 1st.
Oh, August 1st.
There you go. Right.
And Betsy's working there 5 days a week. right?
Correct.
Is that right?
Exactly. So really exciting. It's been an unbelievable journey. And then just to piggyback off of PD National Night Out, all goes well tomorrow. The community center will have its CO issued. And we're gonna look to also be able to show folks the community center in addition to PD. We're in the final punch list items for both the PD and the community center. And then we're full steam ahead on the Fish Chapel parking lot. So really exciting stuff. And we'll be able to report back, the cost avoidance, it was all in the tax letter, we're less than 14 million. Compared to what the original design was, but, the borough did a great job, so.
Yeah, let's go. Go to the borough, anyone in the public? Yeah,
So I discovered that I.
name and address too. Name and address.
Susan O'Brien, 875 River Road. I discovered when I went into Borough Hall to complain about not getting my, paper copy of the newsletter, that it's no longer being sent out for financial. However, there are people in town who don't do email, who don't do the internet. Are, like, have somebody get signed up. Is there any way to still reach them? And not have it go department lines?
Yes, so I can elaborate on it, and just to give you an idea, the previous year, it was 10,000 the budget, which cost for mailing and printing the newsletter. Obviously, costs went up and we have to be, good financial stewards of taxpayer money, so. And we found a lot of people did respond to it from email and social media, so that was the primary way for keeping it. Obviously, this year would have been a little bit more, obviously with increasing costs. What we did decide to do, because we had in-house printing capabilities, we have continued to print the newsletter out. So if somebody does want a printed copy of the newsletter, they can come to Borough Hall and print it out. We have them distributed at Borough Hall, if anybody coming to get a copy of it, if they don't do.
And I did get a copy when I went into like. However, because it's important that everybody in town knows what's going on, is there any way to mail that to the people who don't have internet?
If somebody
else, anything.
If
like
somebody did reach out and had a hardship and they couldn't come in, pick it up at Borough Hall, I would certainly make sure to make an accommodation and get it mailed to them, but they would have to communicate that to
that.
us.
The person that I got signed up last year wasn't even aware that there was any kind of a newsletter, which is why I got her signed up for a hard copy.
Yeah.
Now, I'm signed up for everything, so I get email and online and, as a matter of fact, I'll have to check out Instagram, make sure that you look at my Instagram account, I'm posting a lot of my art.
Wow. So,
Well, let us know your Instagram handle, we can.
No, I figured that out.
Yeah, but if you're aware of anybody who doesn't have the ability to come to Borough Hall, pick up a copy, and you think they need it,
Tell them that they need to get into Borough Hall.
or you know what, since you have access to a computer, if you wanna send me their email, I'll make sure.
They don't have to.
No, you have an email,
Yeah.
you can email me their address, I'll have it mailed. If they can't come to Borough Hall.
We also are considering a program where Attorney Sobel, you can book a time and he comes and he reads the newsletter deal. It's part of our contract that we signed with him.
Chris, they can also, they can also call it, right, so like landline, right, call in and require.
It's a valid point, but it's also something I think we struggle with it consistently over the years, is how do we get more people signed up to get any form of
Which is
communication?
they're running for somebody who isn't aware of what's going on, or all you have to do is forget when the recycling can is out when it shouldn't be, they don't know what's going on.
If somebody doesn't have access to email, doesn't have access to a computer, and is unable to come pick up a hard copy Borough Hall, again, if they wanna call me or they call Betty Ann, we'll make sure it's going.
Yeah, but I wanna do something on like a regular basis. I don't want to miss people who have been getting it, because we didn't have a warning that it wasn't going to be there.
It's a fair point, perhaps we should have sent out one more print, and in the print, we should have mentioned. We're moving to a digital only model unless we make the request, I think this could be good.
A number of organizations that I belong to have gone to online newsletters.
But
I understand because the printing costs are outrageous.
And one of the things we are not discontinuing, we're still keeping the calendar, so the hard copy calendar will still be going out, we're not discontinuing that.
Oh, and that's the thing you should discontinue, because it's a waste of time.
Yeah, I agree with you, I agree with you, I think the printed calendar can cause some issues because things do change, however, you know, the discussion is that. So, I gotta vote down on that, however, that above, but that's another way you can get the information out to how to sign up.
Yeah, but that's not till December.
We're gonna talk about it offline to see if it's.
Yeah, I think this is a real problem, especially for the seniors.
Okay.
Hi, Katie Forstora, 126 Lexington. So I'm surprised to hear that this is an issue because for every person that's lucky enough to know Susan, there's probably 30 more that don't have a Susan O'Brien that can remind them to sign up. There used to be a opt-out list. I think it had 300-400 names on it, people that actually proactively had told the borough, we would prefer to have paper copies. I know that because I would contact Betty Ann for that list when we did our own digital for the fire department, and we were looking at costs. And she gave me a few years ago a list of these are the people that said absolutely we would prefer paper, because we could gauge who are the real off the grid people. Some of those were just, you know, people I just would rather get paper, but we know they're on email and on Instagram. But some of them were legit off the grid, you know, blackouts. So if there's any way to resurface that list, it might not be as big as you think it is. It might be just a handful, maybe. I know the police department knows who the homebound people are, the senior citizens who are by themselves. Could be the seniors club might know that. I know I'm being ageist here, that I'm assuming that it may be some of the older people that don't have that, but there might be an opportunity to have like your opt.
Absolutely, we're gonna look at it. I just wanna mention, he mentioned the financial side, that wasn't it, there was an environmental side with us as well, you know, the use of being. So there were a few reasons we did it, but we hear you, we're gonna see if there's another solution to at least communicate, so everyone knows that it's available. Yes.
Hi, Joanne Stein, 11 Rutgers Drive, Fairhaven. I'm here because I'm trying to find some sort of a better solution to the dog problem in Fairhaven Fields. I have had an altercation which really became very uncomfortable when my dog was approached by a couple of loose animals. My dog got very frightened. I've asked people to please put their dog on a leash just until I leave the area, and they refuse. It's an ongoing problem. I've been told to call the police department, which I've done, and they've been very receptive, but it's an ongoing problem. So it gets to the point where I pull into the fields to walk my dog, and I can't get out of my car until I call the police to see if they'll come and get the people off the field. It was made even more uncomfortable a couple of weeks ago when I tried to be part of the community. I tried to go in, people were not, and this gentleman told me he was there at 6:30 every day with these dogs, refused to put dogs on leash. It wasn't gonna happen, I should come later, all of these other things, which I try to abide by, but when I work, I have to go at 6:30. But one gentleman approached me when I was walking my dog and stopped in the middle of the pathway. Basically was threatening, called me a Karen. Why do I call the police? Maybe if I let my dog off leash, I would be happier, my dog would be happier. And I tried to go around him to go back to my car, and he continued following me and basically said to me, well, what are you gonna go home now and poison the well? And I have not been back to the field since then. It's very, very uncomfortable. And I know that there's signs everywhere, but this group of people seriously said to me, it's not gonna happen. We're here every day at 6:30. And you just have to figure out when to come at another time. I actually thought about going there without my dog one morning and trying to say to them, listen, we're all part of the community here. Can you at least put your dog on a leash when you see me coming? Because my dog is a little anxious and I try and keep everybody safe. And I thought to myself,
I'm gonna stop you there. First of all, thank you for the comments. I almost hear you giving excuses about your own dog, which you don't have to do. There's an ordinance that the dogs have to be on the leash. Full stop. That's our ordinance. Have you, I don't want to get into your individual incidents, but I think you should connect with the chief of police after the meeting, provide them the information. It certainly sounds like there was some harassment involved as well. That's not gonna be tolerated in the borough of Fairhaven. As far as the council's concerned, I mean, if there's an additional suggestion that the chief has after speaking with you, I'm sure he'll provide it to us and we can discuss it and see if we think it's what's right for the community. But right now, there is an ordinance that's already said that dictates that they do have to be on the leash. So I'm not sure there's much for us to do unless there's more information that we hear. Again, I would connect with the chief of police, make sure he has all the detailed information. There are cameras up at Fairhaven Fields, so depending on, I'm not gonna get into which areas of the field are under you know, surveillance, but it possibly, if you know the day and the time, they might be able to figure out what's going on specifically on that day. So, you know, your dog's anxiety is not a problem in Fairhaven.
So should I, because now I'm gonna start working again and I have to go again at 6:30 in the morning, I just avoided the area. Should I,
I think-
I'll speak to.
Yeah, we'll
Okay,
we'll get the time, we'll get somebody out there.
thank you.
Thank you for raising it.
Yeah, I mean, maybe a dog park, I don't know.
That's another.
Thank you, I appreciate it.
Is there anyone else with a good of the borough comment? No?
Clarify, chief, on the call report, animal related calls, 31 in the month of June, is that, when we talk about animal related calls, is that dogs off leash?
It could,
Okay,
it could be a number of things that I don't have to break down.
Yeah.
But you sure, I'm sure it's other more.
okay, I think that you could be showing, same with people,
Oh, really?
yeah, so, okay, yeah. Next, do we ticket people with their dogs off leash?
Yeah, we usually go there, and give them a warning first, and usually we go back, I mean, usually they're pretty cooperative when we go there, I mean. We used to have Henry the dog catcher, he was there a lot, then
Yeah,
we were there, the code enforcement was there, but we can check at that time.
and with the dog catcher dog.
Or with the SPCA.
With no other good of the borough comments, I'm gonna make a quick one. I'm gonna say every single summer meeting, e-bikes, please. You probably don't think your kid is using them in a way that they shouldn't, they probably are. Okay, please, e-bikes, make sure they have their helmets on, make sure they're adhering to the traffic rules. I'm very, very frightened for our community, specifically with this one category of transportation, so, yes.
Can I add to that, because I often go to the grocery store at night. And it seems to be a certain age about driving crazy at night on the e-bike. Sometimes no helmet, often on the sidewalk, sometimes down the middle of the road, and you're gonna die. I don't know what the solution is, but perhaps the police can be out there at that hour.
Well, they did, if you look at that report,
Yeah.
what does it say for bike incidents there? I don't know.
Yeah.
900 and something. That's how many warnings they gave, and we did we actually did take a bike the other day, somebody,
Good, oh, good.
but I was like 100, I don't even know how many calls with it for.
That's
91.
almost safety
91.
control.
So what I'm hearing there is there is enforcement. What I'm hearing is there's so many bikes out there. The fact that they gave, that's in 1 month, right?
Yeah.
In 1 month, 91 situations where they had to stop someone. And say you're not using your bike, shows that we have almost, I don't know if using the word epidemic is the right word, but that's the way it feels.
Yeah, and it's not, in no way, it's very, it's.
It's everywhere.
Like, if there was a thing on the news the other day about, Wildwood, I think it was, Chief Height had major problems with bikes and stuff, it's all over, it's not.
And we were ahead of it, because I think Little Silver and Rumson just copied.
Yes, they have it on
our
their
ordinance. But now we need, it's almost a plea from me to the parents to get ahead of it also. Because if we're just relying that our kids are using them the right way, and you got people driving in their cars, looking at their cell phones, just faster waiting to happen, so, I'm asking the community, please, if we can incorporate it, it'd be amazing.
Talk about find out one state for the liaisons for the PA, so maybe national map, and table or something.
The fireman's fair.
Same.
You want that split with me getting put into the, Kevin, did you get that rental in for the dunk tank, or they were fully booked?
Must be fully booked.
Ah, too bad, I was so excited.
Wanted to accidents that have related to bikes, yeah.
Yes.
Okay, we are at 7:43 PM. Do I have a motion to adjourn? Motion.
Second.
All in favor?
Aye.
Anyone opposed? Nice, Barry.
Good luck, Ernest.